On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 17 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. You know, ever since I signed up for this thing called Facebook, Robin, I have been inundated with people who seem to know a lot about a lot. I mean, and when it comes to health, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen, like, all you have to do is say, oh, I got a little cold. You will have 100 different people telling you what you should do for that cold, right?
Yeah.
And if you have anything going on, somebody's going to tell you what you should do. And I'm not making fun completely, because some of them I look at and I say, really, that almost looks like it makes sense, you know. And so we're going to talk about a way to perhaps be cured of different things. Dr. Cass Ingram is on the phone. I believe he's been with us before, Robin. He's a prolific author on the topic of natural health, and that's kind of one of the directions that a lot of people on Facebook seem to be going in anyway. Dr. Ingram is probably one of the guys they refer to or have quoted in many cases. He is one of the world's foremost experts on the medicinal uses of wild herbs and spices, and he's going to talk about his book. It's called The Cure is in the Forest: The Healing Powers of Wild Chaga Mushrooms, Birch Bark, and Poplar Buds, the forest's most popular natural medicines. Let's find out what this is about from Dr. Ingram. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Great to be back again. How are you all doing, Doc?
Yeah. And where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Northland up in Chicago. You know.
The Northland.
Right. Where they get their share of cold and flu and congestion, but not me anyway.
So
knock on something.
So is it Chaga or Chaga?
Chaga for the Canadians, Chaga for us down here.
Oh, okay.
And you can call it Chaga. Basically, you're talking about a tree growth. Here you've got a wonderful creation on birch trees in the far north that's the best thing in the world for, like, strength and stamina and getting more out of every day and staying really healthy.
Really?
And also boosting the immune system. But I call Chaga kind of like nature's get the maximum out of your day stuff, which is proven by the ethnics. We can talk a little bit about its powers in longevity. It's the top source of a substance called SOD. SOD is superoxide dismutase chemical, but it's natural inside the body. It's the biggest thing that protects you against, like, aging.
Against aging?
Oh.
Okay, everyone's going to be going into a birch tree now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the key. Your average Inuit, you know, they up there in the North Pole.
Right.
How long did they live on average?
34 years.
You're right, about 30 to 50 years.
Okay.
But when the same basic climate, when you go to Siberia, the Inuit tribes were living to be 90 to 100.
Wow.
And,
oh, wow.
You know, the only difference was they were drinking chaga every day as a tea and putting it in their soup and stew.
Really?
Isn't that kind of interesting?
Wow, that says a lot. That might answer one of the questions that I prepared for you. So let me just ask that one and see if this applies. We hear, not only do we hear from people who want to tell us what is good for us, but we also hear from people who tell us what's bad for us. One of the things lately that comes up a lot is wheat-based products, especially if it's got gluten in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article that said gluten can actually cause skin rashes. And
it's a very common cause of skin rash.
Oh, really? See, and so I guess my question would be, if we have something good like chaga mushrooms, but continue to eat the things that are bad like gluten, do they cancel each other out, or do we need to get rid of the bad?
Gluten can be so toxic to some individuals. You've also got another big toxin, which is milk protein in some people. So I wouldn't say that they cancel each other, but you're going to get better results if you could find out how to structure your diet in a neat way. I can't ever eat gluten. I mean, I'm so intolerant to it that I must completely stay away from every trace of it.
Well, when did you narrow that down? When did you figure out that you had a problem and it was being caused by gluten?
Well, when I used to get bronchitis 3 or 4 times a year, and I'd get terribly constipated and plugged up totally, couldn't get rid of it. And then I took an allergy test, and it showed I was sensitive to rye, wheat, and every kind of a wheat bran.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I used to eat wheat germ and wheat bran, and I would wonder why I'd get more and more constipated. But you do have to kind of study that. That's in a separate book of mine called How to Eat Right and Live Longer. I have a big section in there on food intolerance, and I tell you what the best test in the United States is, which is out of Chicago, not my lab, but there's a great, great lab that anybody can, you can get the book and study that and take that test. It's a tube of blood, and then you can find out if you're gluten intolerant, if you're intolerant to cheese, to coffee, to tea, all the things that we crave and, hit hard.
Yeah, right.
So,
And
but even with that, I still noticed that when I use some of these natural cures, that even if I got into something, I could recover better, so they don't cancel each other out. In fact, it's protective to take chaga if you have a health issue,
How
if
do
you
you
have
take
an
it?
allergy, if you have an immune system problem.
Is it delicious?
Well, if I like it, I can't
You drink
say
it?
I crave
Is
it.
it a
but-
pill? What is it?
Well, the pill is no issue. You just down the hatch. But there's chaga tea. I do like the taste, and there's one called chaga black and another one chaga white. Both are delicious, especially the chaga white, which is kind of a latte type taste.
Okay.
There are also now on the market chaga chunks. If you go to mynaturalmarket.com or American Wild Foods or someplace like that, you will see these chaga chunks, which are carob, honey, chaga, and other natural things, cocoa butter as the base. Those are quite good.
You have just brought up colors. Do the colors of the different plants and things play a role in your health?
They do. The big premise of the press release is that when we looked at the chaga in the wild, it has a black coating, then brown, then yellow ochre, and I'll relate to that in a moment. But we looked at the greens, at how rich the color of greens is, and the deer eating them. So you have dandelion being that nice dark green. So let's just go through it. And then you have berries, which are purple and red, and grapes, which are purplish red. Purplish red is excellent for the heart and circulation. No surprise with grape, right?
Mm-hmm.
But green is like bile. Bile is green, so anything really rich green, like the bitter greens, right?
Right.
It stimulates the digestion and it stimulates the flow of bile, especially something like dandelions and burdock, which have such color.
So the colors actually tell us something about what they will affect?
Well, think about red. The best berry that is known that's for the heart is the strawberry. And the strawberry, it looks like a heart shape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the red color. And digitalis is from, the flower is so brilliant red, and that's the, where the digoxin comes from.
So does that mean a walnut would be good for the brain?
Foxglove.
Oh, yeah.
Walnut's good for the brain. Yeah, exactly.
So if it
Wow.
looks like it is good for it.
Well, it would be, and it
That's
is.
awesome.
It's the number one nut for the brain. Yeah.
I'm eating
And now
bananas.
chaga-
I'm going to eat more bananas.
Banana.
There you go.
Banana's
Fantasy
different.
Fest is this weekend. You guys will be set.
But
That's our job, by the way. Our job is to be silly.
I understand, but I don't understand. So now, but what's interesting is that, but there is something to that. Now, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin does look like the gonads in men, and pumpkin is the best
Not
thing
mine.
for the prostate. It's true. It's true. I mean, God is merciful. So I get to throw one in here and there. But now listen, the chaga.
Yes.
I have to say for the women, the chaga is one of the best things, and it does take on the shape of female glands. I'm talking about the female privates and the female
Right.
uterus. A lot of times it takes that shape, so it is one of the best things for pelvic cancer. cancer in those
that's
areas.
serious. That's serious.
Yeah, it is.
So can I ask you a
black.
question? While we're talking, I Googled chaga. And what came up, I'm guessing it's not even related, but just for those people who look it up and do the same thing I did, the first thing that came up was Chagas disease. What is that?
Oh, that's going to come up more often. That's a parasite out of a bug down in the south.
So it's not connected at all to this mushroom.
No, look at chagaknowledge.com. It's a generic site, chagaknowledge.com. You'll get some general information. Look me up, Dr. Cass Ingram, Facebook, and you'll see me talking and interacting with people and videos on chaga and hunting the chaga in the wilderness. That'll be a good start. But I was going to mention that since it's yellow ochre, like egg yolk, it's really good for the brain. So in addition to the female area, from its shape, it's also color-wise. I had a person who had diabetic neuropathy and could not walk but with a walker, and she's ditched the walker after taking these Chagamax capsules and Chago Power drops. Those
what happened?
Products.
What happened in her body?
Remember, it's got that power for like the nerves, like it's yellowish ochre, and then the eggs are like that, and that it's got these cholesterol-like molecules, not cholesterol, but like that the body can use to regenerate the nerve sheath. They're called sterols.
So do the other two things that we mentioned in the opening have the same effect? And those two things were, let me find them again, birch bark and poplar buds. Are they
those are different now.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Birch bark is close because chaga grows on a birch tree, but birch bark is white. And white is good for the immune system, other things. Birch bark is anti-tumor. It's a good tonic for like cancer prevention. Poplar, that's that wax that the bees pick up to make propolis. Great for the immune system, great for healing wounds, great for herpes. That poplar is one of the best medicines, which is both the propolis and the poplar itself, to knock out both oral and genital herpes. Honest to God, and shingles too.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure what the color code is there, but that's a rich chocolate color.
We have, every once in a while I'll drive past a clinic when it has a marquee, and on the marquee it says shingles vaccines.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's a genetically engineered. It's a money-grubbing hoax. I was at the seminar, medical seminar. Immediately I started questioning the science. It was done offshore.
Oh, wow.
Vicious material. A lot of side effects, and you can get shingles from it. And you can get, by the way, from the Gardasil, you can get the papillomavirus and go sterile. I don't like, here, I've never had anybody kick the bucket from a birch bark tea or chaga.
Yeah.
Or even the wild oregano we've talked before about.
Right.
But study this. I've got the whole book on it, The Cures in the Forest. And maybe go to the health food store.
Doctor, I am not a biblical expert. I don't know. I can't quote much of the Bible, but somebody called in when I was talking about this, about the subtitle of the book, "The Healing Powers of the Forest's Most Popular Natural Medicines." That's what I want to say. The Cures in the Forest. The title. Somebody said that there's something in the Bible that says that.
The Bible is very clear that the herbage and the Quran also saying that the wild herbs in the forest and the trees are medicine. Bible has a lot of references to that, indicating that you'll find everything in the wild.
I wanted to ask you something about the age prevention, but we do have a phone call. You okay with taking phone calls?
Well, just before we go there, the Bible mentions that you should purge your body with hyssop. It's not hyssop, it's oregano. Aesop is Greek for oregano.
Oh.
Good, we'll eat Italian today.
Okay. Eat Italian, yes. All right, let me go to the phone, then I have a question about the anti-aging thing you said earlier.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning. I just wanted to add, is it true about chickenpox being started as a shingles?
Did chickenpox start out as shingles?
Yeah, okay. The chickenpox virus is the same virus that causes shingles.
There you go. So So what's the connection? If you had chickenpox, you'll get shingles, or you could get shingles?
No, the connection is that the chickenpox virus goes and lives inside the nerve sheath, and if you get under stress or your body breaks down with age, it can come out as a shingles.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
that's all it is. It lives, it's already in there. And if you eat too much chocolate or too many nuts, it will feed it, or you're under too much stress. So that's why I tell people, get into the natural cures. I mean, I always treat shingles with this oregano, this P73 oil of oregano. I only use that because it's the original and edible one.
And it works.
It always works for me. And remember, I mentioned propolis. Propolis is also excellent for this condition.
Okay, here's my aging question. You said something about the chaga mushroom helping with aging, I think. But this is another marquee that I drive past, and it's chelation, Chelation, and it says anti-aging. It'll or age reversal or something like that.
Okay, we really need evidence for age.
What is that?
Prevention.
What is chelation?
Chelation is just hooking up the IV bag of synthetic vitamins and EDTA and infusing it. But there's no hard evidence that those bag treatments extend life significantly. There's not a lot out there that we can say is life extending routinely. One of them is reduction in calories. That's a definite. You cut back on your food intake. Another one is long, brisk walks. Another definite.
All right.
Not jogging, but walking. Mm-hmm. But a third one is chaga. Chaga is the richest source of SOD, and McCord and others have demonstrated that SOD prevents aging. But here's the deal. The chaga consumers in the far north live to be 90 to 110. The tribes who did not consume it in Siberia and in Alaska only lived to be 40.
Wow.
Twice.
That's huge.
Twice. So chaga, exactly, taken daily. Chaga Max capsules if you just want to do something simple.
Right.
The chaga drops, the chaga birch bark tea. I like the chaga charge, my favorite with the maca. But regardless, chaga regularly means increased lifespan in anyone who does it regularly.
So where do we get it? Where do we get it?
Well, you go to the Ma and Pa health food store, harass them, look on the internet so you know what you're looking for. AmericanWildFoods.com, MyNaturalMarket.com, iHerb, that kind of, whatever.
Okay. Doctor, always fun to talk to you, and we haven't spoken to you in a while, so I'm glad you were on with us today.
Let's talk again and follow up about this cold and flu season to help the people stay healthy.
You got it. I think we should do that as soon as we can. Dr. Cass Ingram, again, from Chicago. Thank you for calling in. Stay warm up there.
Around.
Yeah.
Bye.
We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Vivix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Vivix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Health Secretary Kathleen Sebelius says she's just as frustrated as anybody else about the miserably bumpy launch of the healthcare.gov website, and she's sorry. In testimony before a congressional committee, she also said it's fixable and should be working by the end of November. President Obama is no longer the most powerful person in the world, according to Forbes. Editors give that title to Russian President Vladimir Putin, citing the government shutdown that handcuffed Mr. Obama. Some iPhone fans suspect Apple is conspiring against them. The New York Times says some have complained that each new operating system renders older phones slower, leading some to believe Apple times iPhones to self-destruct at about the time the new models come out. Some say a North Dakota woman is begging to have her house egged by planning to give out letters, not candy, to overweight trick-or-treaters. They urge parents to step up and limit their food intake. Tickets for tonight's Game 6 of the World Series at Fenway Park are going for as much as $24,000. The Red Sox host the Cardinals with a 3-2 lead. This is ABC News.
Right now at the Home Depot, kitted 10-year sealed battery smoke and carbon monoxide alarms start at just $24.97. So, let's worry less. Let's do smarter fire safety. Alarms that won't turn off and batteries that won't chirp for 10 long years. Let's do this. Kidde worry-free alarms starting at just $24.97. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. U.S. only. See store for details.
Geico has various discounts to help you save even more money on your car insurance. Good driver, multi-car, even a discount for being a good student, which is an incentive for your teenagers to get good grades. And if they get good grades, they might get a good job and possibly become rich. Then they could pay for your car insurance. What a brilliant idea.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require a $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. We're at Florida. Sunshine today, some clouds and warm. There can be a shower in spots along the coast, the high 80 to 84. And partly cloudy tonight, just a chance of a shower along the coast, low 65, inland to 71 at the beaches. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds and warm. There may be a shower in the morning near the coast, the high 82 to 86. And for Friday, some sunshine and warm, high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow is Halloween, Robin, and I found something online, and I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on this one. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
There's a lady in North Dakota, and she is, instead of candy in the trick-or-treat bags, and it wasn't clear if this is all trick-or-treat bags or just some of them, but instead of candy, she is putting a note in the bag. So then when the child gets home, the parent sees the note, and this is what the note says. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
It says on the note, Happy Halloween and Happy Holidays, neighbor. You are probably wondering why your child has this note. Have you ever heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child? I am disappointed in the village of Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo. I guess this is where she lives, North Dakota, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes on to say, your child is, in my opinion, moderately obese and should not be consuming sugar and treats to the extent of some children this Halloween season. My hope is that you will step up as a parent and ration candy this Halloween and not allow your child to continue these unhealthy eating habits. Thank you. So instead of when they empty out the bag of candy, this note pops out, and it wasn't clear in the article. The article was from I guess from CBS, but it wasn't clear in the article if she was only handing it to those people who she thought, those children who she thought were moderately obese, or if she was handing it to everybody.
And how can you tell when you have a costume on, and why should you be the judge? Ooh, I would go with my child, and then I would look at every house then, and if my child had that piece of paper, I would go up to that house and make such a stink right away. I wouldn't even wait.
Can you imagine that?
That's awful.
Can you imagine getting that? No.
That's awful.
The woman actually went on the radio up in their town, in their area, to mention that's how we know this a day in advance of Halloween, because obviously she hasn't handed out anything yet, right?
Right.
She says, I think it's just really irresponsible for parents to send out their children looking for free candy just because all the other kids are doing it.
Oh, that's horrible. That woman has issues. I hope they find out where that woman lives. And that they put somebody in front of that house saying, stay away from this house.
So what would you do? Well, I mean, let's say, I mean, I know your children were both healthy and they were not obese. I remember them when they were kids. And let's say you had a third child in your group spending the night. Can you imagine this? You're trick or treating. Maybe you've got a sleepover friend, right? And the kids are all going to go trick or treating, and then they're going to come back and have a sleepover at your house, right? And the two out of three children get candy, get no note, and then the third child gets a candy. And the third child has an obesity issue, and the third child knows this in all of his or her life. She's been told this as his or her young life. She's been told this. They empty out their bags on the floor or the table, wherever they put them, right, to kind of look at what kind of goodies they got. And there in the pile of candy for one kid is this note.
Oh.
And let's say they are a reading age, and they're smart enough to know that obese means fat.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's awful.
You just push somebody over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, that child could commit suicide. That child can hurt himself or herself. No, the village is not the policeman. The parents are each child's policeman. I hate it when that book came out. It takes a village to raise a child, because it does not. It takes the parent to raise a child, and the parent has to supervise the schools and everything else in the village to raise the child.
So there you go. So that was
that's a horrible thing. That woman should be chastised. That woman should have picketers in front of her house tomorrow night, because that radio station probably knows her name.
Maybe not. I mean, you don't know. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Wondered how you felt about it.
Why does that woman think she should play God? She's got a God complex.
You think?
Yep.
You think?
Yep. She wants to be in total control. She's probably a failure as a mother, and she wants to, put her failures on everybody else.
Anyway, I mean, she know what she could have done. She could have, I don't know, put coins or something. She could have handed the little child some pennies instead of candy.
Exactly. Or a notepad or something fun, one of those tiny books, and things like that. You don't have to give candy on Halloween. That's not a given.
Have you ever had somebody put a religious track in your?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't remember any of that stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah. In mine and in my kids too, when I took them trick or treating.
And are they like anti-Halloween things? Like they just don't believe in Halloween, so they're.
No, it was just things
just
about
religious tracts?
religious tracts. I don't know if they were Jehovah's Witnesses or just Christians or who they were, but it was just religious tracts pointing out things in the Bible. There wasn't anything derogatory that was said about Halloween.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wish you would door-to-door on every holiday.
There you go.
Can you imagine that?
We'll knock on their door. What are you handing out tonight? Are you handing out candy or religious tracts?
So the other topic of discussion was they seem to be very concerned about the fact that signing up for the Affordable Health Care Act is becoming very difficult for people. It's just that the system is not working, and I'm thinking to myself, that's like the least of the issues. The bigger issues is the fact that people who were told they could keep their insurance can't.
Right.
300,000 people in Florida who were told that they don't meet the standards, and so therefore they won't be able to keep their current insurance.
Isn't that awful? They've had that insurance for years and years and haven't had a problem.
And then there are the people who've been calling in and saying that their health insurance costs are actually going to go up because of the health care reforms. And the affordable health care, therefore, is no longer affordable to some of them. And I'm not saying by a few dollars.
No.
There was one guy who went from $300 a month to $600 a month.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
Double.
That is Really, really bad for the Obama administration to do that.
I don't understand that.
No, me neither. And then you can't sign up anytime like regular health insurance. You have a little window to sign up in, and you have to adhere to the little window. I mean, what's the matter with them? When you sign up for health insurance, you want to do it when you want to sign up.
So you can't sign. So once March comes, you can't sign up?
Right, exactly. You have to wait like another 6 months before they have that open enrollment period.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can't sign up any time during the year. You have to wait.
I guess I'll go visit my insurance agent on Friday or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
'Cause I don't know that I understand it either.
Yeah, it's just absolutely ludicrous the way this. I mean, it would all go away if the Obama administration would say, okay, we're going to make it available, like you said, like Kid Care that was in Florida, and not make it mandated. Then everybody would be happy. And the insurance companies are private sector, and now they're being ruled by the government.
All right. Well, when we come back, Donald J. Devine hopefully will be on the air with us. He's the vice chairman of the American Conservative Union, and his book is called America's Way Back, and maybe he'll have something to say about all of this. Rediscovering the Roots of Freedom and Tradition. We'll be right back in just a little bit with our guest, Donald J. Devine. We'll be back.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
How good does it get?
Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA professional and teacher to the stars, Jim Beckett, and operations manager for the Links of Spruce Creek South, Darren Irwin, right here on The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. We're at Florida. Sunshine today, some clouds and warm. There can be a shower in spots along the coast, the high 80 to 84. And partly cloudy tonight, just a chance of a shower along the coast, low 65, inland to 71 at the beaches. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds and warm. There may be a shower in the morning near the coast, the high 82 to 86. And for Friday, some sunshine and warm, high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
Thank you for tuning in. 16 minutes after 10 o'clock. Can you imagine living in a place where you were forced to do things that you just didn't feel were right? So you find another continent on the planet and you decide to let's just move away from here. Let's go over there. Let's start our own place. And let's have a piece of paper, a document called a constitution. And this is going to be the foundation for everything we do here. Mm-hmm. And everything has to be held up to that before it's decided on whether we can do it. And we'll have a government that is set up with checks and balances so that nobody will ever create a law or a circumstance that is unconstitutional. And now you have this mandate to buy insurance whether you want to or not. Is that constitutional?
No, it is not.
I don't think so
I
either.
don't think
And I don't know that our guest disagrees or agrees, but I know he knows the Constitution. He is Donald J. Devine. He's the vice chairman of the American Conservative Union. He's a senior scholar at the Fund for American Studies, a longtime advisor to the late President Ronald Reagan. And his book is called America's Way Back, Rediscovering the Roots of Freedom and Tradition. You know, we have the freedom to fail, too. Right? And that's part of the price you pay when you are free. Good morning, Donald. Good to have you back on the air with us.
Well, great to be back, Larry.
And where are you?
I'm in Washington.
You're in Washington. It's busy up there, isn't it?
Well, the fount of all your problems.
Do you know what we were just talking about? We were talking about the fact that it seems like everybody's trying to run around talking about that the signing up for the Obamacare is not working, and they're apologizing for it. And Ms. Sebelius is in hot water. Okay, that's all well and good, but isn't the bigger picture the fact that people are being told they can't keep their insurance when they told they could? People are having to actually pay more for insurance when they said it was going to be less. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that a bigger story than the fact that you can't sign up?
Yeah, it sure is. It's a good thing we have folks like you that raise these issues, because the mainstream media certainly doesn't want to talk about these matters.
Although there was an article on the CBS News website that did mention that 300,000 Floridians, and then there were other states mentioned as well, but 300,000 Floridians were going to be forced to find other insurance because they their insurance didn't qualify for the standards set off in the Healthcare Act. The Affordable Health Care Act.
Actually, to give credit where it's due, the Wall Street Journal today has a great editorial on this. And as they say very clearly, I mean, this is the way it was set up. It was set up to do it this way. We're getting some feedback here. Is that my end or yours?
It must be. It sounds fine on our end, and I apologize for that. Okay. I think it's just the way it is. So the question I have is, and this is speculation, I'm sure, but I've heard some talk show hosts, like Mike Huckabee, for example, say that this is really part of the plan. They want it to fail so that we go to a one-payer system. Do you think that's probably true?
Well, again, the Wall Street Journal article is very clear. It goes right through the history of this. It clearly was planned that way. The problem is that even without going to a single payer, the idea is to have a standard policy that everybody's supposed to have. And unfortunately, people are just finding that out now.
Do you want to take phone calls?
Sure.
Okay, it looks like we have somebody on the line. Good morning. You're on there with Donald J. Devine.
Good morning, Mr. Devine. I'm one of your supporters. I periodically receive your mailings and support you and what you're trying to do 100%. I personally believe, unfortunately, the Democrats and Republicans are playing good cop, bad cop with the American people in this country. And we need a third party 10 years ago. But I would like your comment on that. And I agree with you 100% on what you're telling us about this illegal health care system that the government is jamming down our throats. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for your past support, too. Third parties, unfortunately, don't work. The way our system is set up, the two parties have a great natural advantage. Now, the good part of that is that parties are only empty vessels, and they're filled up by political action. Parties can change. Before Barry Goldwater came around in '64, it was a totally Eastern upper-class party run by Brahmins from New England and New York, and that changed, and we can do that again. The power is in our hands. And even the earlier question about Obamacare, I mean, the way we change Obamacare is politically. That's the way the Constitution was set up, and that's our challenge. That's what I try to say in my book, America's Way Back. I mean, we have to first understand what the Constitution was supposed to do, which was to limit power and to have most things done state, local, privately. And the problem, the reason why government isn't working now is it tries to do too much.
Yeah.
And that's not just me. I mean, that's the top public administration professor in America says that.
So the other side,
not a conservative.
Could the other side, could those who are in favor of the Affordable Health Care Act being exactly as it is and moving forward exactly as they wanted it to, could they also use the way the government is set up, is how it worked and it passed legally? Could they also use that as an argument that it's there, it's legal, everybody who the system worked and it's in place?
Yeah, well, the system doesn't work because it's being overwhelmed. It can't do anything right. Here we have a preteen kid walks through our great airport security system, gets on a plane, goes to Las Vegas, nobody checks him. I mean, the system is overloaded. You know, Ronald Reagan said in his first, who I work for, in his first inaugural, he's not cutting spending merely to save money. He's trying to reorient the power relationship and get power back to the states and people, which is how the system was set up. If we overwhelm it, it can't possibly work.
Makes sense to me. The book that we're focusing on is your book called America's Way Back, and is it a handbook for us to kind of give us some ideas on maybe how to phrase or letters to our congressmen, et cetera? And does that even work?
Well, no, it's much more to get us to think seriously about how the government was set up. I mean, in theory, conservatives, and it's mainly oriented towards conservatives and libertarians. I mean, we normally think, it's set up as a limited government, it can't do too much, but we don't really think of why that is and how it came about, and try to give some ideas, mainly just stolen from Ronald Reagan, as how we can get it back and do it all over again as we did it before.
Do town hall meetings really, really work? Because we have some elected officials for the U.S. government who are elected to the House of Representatives, and they'll hold town hall meetings every year from time to time. And then the people go there, they're all excited. The people are told they can give their ideas and input. But then, by the time the meeting's over with, the congressmen will go back to Washington and they'll vote however they feel they should vote and not as their constituents want them to vote.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, Robin. I mean, what really counts, and the only thing that's in the Constitution is nothing about town hall meetings, but what is in there is elections, and that's what we have to keep in mind, and people have to become aware of what their congressman is doing, and if he's just giving them lip service, they can vote him out. You don't even have to wait for the general election. You can do it through the nomination process. And with so many districts, all Democrat or all Republicans, in some ways that's more important. And that takes many few people to do to make changes, by the way.
When we had the government closed down a few weeks ago, we had a lot of people saying, no incumbents, don't vote for anybody, vote everybody out. What the other side of that was everybody will vote everybody out except for their own, which of course you can't vote for anybody but your own. So everybody loves their own congressman, in other words, and hates Congress. So is there any wisdom in the whole idea of voting everybody out, if we could indeed get on board and do that?
No, I think there's no shortcuts here. You have to look at the situation in your own place where you are. You got to look at your congressman, and a lot of them say one thing home and do different things in Washington, and that takes citizens to work. Now, the good thing is it doesn't take everybody. All you need is maybe 10, 15% of the local people who are paying a lot of attention, and then they have to alert other people. In fact, again, that's the way it was set up. Jefferson and Adams both agreed that there's a natural aristocracy in a democracy, people who do follow closely, and then they inform their fellow citizens.
The book is called America's Way Back. Our guest is Donald J. Devine. He's the author of the book, and we've got another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Donald Devine.
Good morning, Mr. Devine. This is Lauren. I'd like to thank you, and I'm definitely going to get a hold of your book. You know, you mentioned earlier about that little boy who got through and was flying and nobody checked him. I recently flew, and I went through the screening process, and I come out on the other end, and I see that my pocketbook is standing up and unzipped, and I start questioning, why is my pocketbook open? Who went in my pocketbook? Well, long story short, the TSA person wasn't chastised, but my license and my boarding pass were hauled off and made a copy of. I was the problem. And, you know, that shouldn't be a party issue. Any Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal who sees what's going on and sees how we're being treated, we all should be totally up in arms. And I thank you for your book, and I'm going to get a hold of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Boy, that must have been terrible. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, the government can't do anything without letting politics get in it. And, of course, one of the reasons why the TSA personnel can get away with bad behavior is the Democrats insisted that they all be government union positions. I mean, if you can't fire somebody, how are you going to expect that they're going to be able to be good employees? If you knew you could never get fired unless you did something totally outrageous, you would act differently than you do now.
Right.
I was the head of the Federal Civil Service for Reagan's first term. I know this personally.
Wow, that is crazy. I mean, that is a violation of the Constitution right there. Unreasonable search and seizure, right?
Yes.
Well, you know, unfortunately, you know, the founders put great sentiments in there. Of course, remember, the Bill of Rights wasn't even part of the original Constitution. Basically, the Constitution they created is up to us. We have to get out there and enforce the principles that are in there. And we got to do them even on things we may not like. Sure, we like getting free stuff from the federal government.
Well, that's the problem. The people who depend on the free stuff are the ones who vote for the things that support the free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we blame our congressmen a lot, and they deserve blame too. But the fact of the matter is, anytime anybody talks about doing anything about the real problems that faces, they get in trouble.
Yeah. Donald, do you have a website you can tell us about? Because we just ran out of time. I apologize for that. What's a good website?
Conservative.org. That's the American Conservative Union. Or if you want to get my book, just go to Amazon, America's Way Back, Reclaiming Freedom, Tradition, and Constitution.
Okay. Thank you. It was an honor to be able to say you were on our show. Thank you for coming on, and please come back.
Well, thank you, Robin and Larry. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come.